No, not 3, 2. The king. Anyway, the King of Kings. So anyway, yeah. So our generation, we have a great deal to be grateful for. We witnessed a great deal, of history, So, the King of Kings represents, as Osiris represented, as Apollo represented the sun, right? He represented the soul, the heart, the soul, right? And the highest aspect of, man, right? Okay, he represented the Father. And as we said, Michael Joseph Jackson, is influenced 3 generations, as well as us being able to see him in our time. Okay, the 3 generations he marks us as a special generation. And as I said, to have seen so many great legends in our time. Phenomenal. Now, so we are indeed the golden children of the sun, the golden children of Apollo. Okay, and Apollo represents the sun, as Osiris represents the sun. Okay, the highest aspect of humanity. Uranus was in the constellation of the celestial king Apollo, right? King Solomon, or which sold the soul of man. Okay, that's what Solomon represents. Or, again, the heart of the man, the heart. He was in the heart. Okay, the heart chakra. Uranus was, okay, which gave with extra strength, extra power. Okay, embolden the sun, embolden the heart, strengthen the heart. The heart, Apollo, the heart of Apollo was being awakening. Okay, because Uranus is the awakener, right? It represents the awakener. So the heart of man was being awakened, right? It was pulsating, and indeed it was, right? Because we had what? The civil rights movement. We had the anti-war movement. So America was waking up, right? So the golden children were coming alive, right? And the king was being born. A king was being brewed in all of this, right? Okay. As we said, the heart Apollo was being awakened, resurrected in the glory of the new body, the new consciousness, the new humanity. Okay? A new consciousness was being born, was being awakened, was being forged, being evolved, was evolving. Okay? The opening of the heart ushered in the civil rights movement of America, and the King of Kings was born to lead the divine nation of Solomon. He was Apollo reborn. Apollo resurrected and given the lyra, given the lyrics, right? And given the lyrics. Because Apollo is given the lyrics, right? He's given the speech, the ability to speak, right? And what did the King of Kings do? But he ministered through song, right? And he wrote them. Those were his words, right? MashaAllah. Divinely inspired, because he said he conceived the complete song, right? And then he would put it together according to how he divinely received it, MashaAllah. So he received the lyrics. He received the lyra. And the lyra comes from, it's supposed to, in constellation, as it represents, different aspects of the divine. Okay, so Mercury is to represent the messenger, the one who delivers the word, right? So Mercury gives the lyra to, or gives the word to the sun, the soul, right? And Michael representing Apollo, Michael representing the one with the lyra, the child that was to lead them, and he also was a Virgo, right? A Mercury, okay, a messenger. And what did he do? But he composed his words, right, through the divine, as he was given them, as they were divinely inspired to him. Okay, and he often said, it was he felt, you know, kind of shy about putting his name as the author of so much of his work, you know, as it relates to music, you know, because it came, you know, through the universe. You know, he heard it and he grafted it, he wrote it, what he heard. And that's what prophets do, right? Okay? They are divinely inspired, they hear the word, and then they write the word, okay? So that's what Michael was gifted us with as well, okay? So it ushered in the civil rights movement, the 60s, right? Or the Uranus and Leo, right? Ushered in the civil rights movement, right? Because it awakened the consciousness of man, because it awakened the heart of man, right? And it opened the heart chakra, as we said, and ushered in the civil rights movement, the humanity of man, okay? And it also represents a kind of man, a kind man, a sensitive man, a caring man, a Michael Jackson man, a king of kings, born to lead, a child born to lead, okay, divinely, sensitively, kind man, okay. Also in 1958, Jupiter was in Libra. So now, that's why again, 1958 was the apex of Uranus and, you know, and Leo. 1958, because again, 1958, Jupiter was in Libra, and of course, Libra is supposed to represent, you know, expansiveness, right, or the social, you know, will, okay. The overall, desire, social desire, okay, the desire, the will of the people, the will of the people, the desire of the people. That's what Venus would represent, or Libra would represent, right? So, therefore, Jupiter being in the will of the people, and justice, the will of the people, right? It's going to be the apex. So, therefore, again, marking 1958 is a very significant period, right? Again, the King of Kings had that marking in his natal chart, as did, you know, much of humanity, but it marked, again, the significance of this Leo and Uranus and Leo generations, golden generation, were marked with a destiny, right, of change, for changing the plutocratic plantation consciousness that's destroying all of humanity, right, and to meet the Christ consciousness, okay, when it ascends to the earth, right, as Uranus enters Taurus, right, the Pleiades, right, okay, the seven sisters, right, and you'll receive that because you will have purged yourself, right, okay, so now, again, as I said, Jupiter in 1958, Jupiter was in Libra, as it is currently now. So Mark's again. And Sagittarius, Sagittarius was in a Sagittarius, no. Saturn was in Sagittarius. That's what I want to say, where it is now. So it marks the children of the sun at a very pivotal point. It marks us as the second generation. We are this second generation, okay, to inherit the dream of Martin Luther King, and which the dream was given to the Vatican, right? The dream was given to the Vatican, again, with a lotus blossom, right, from Kemet, right, to resurrect the dead. They're dead, right? And we don't even, alhamdulillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have all the heroes, okay? They have the zeros, right? The Christopher Columbuses of the world, right? Huh? The barbarians of the world, the scum of the earth, okay? So, we have, alhamdulillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have Allah on our side, okay? That's in itself to be grateful for, because if you notice, if you remember the history, he always wins, alhamdulillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anyway, 1958 was a very, was an apex, and it was in Libra as it currently is now, and Sagittarius in no, Saturn and Sagittarius, okay? Where we even get some liberty from there's even liberty from Saturn, right? Okay, because it's a little bit expansive right now, it's a little bit lenient right now, right? So, okay. Again, marking this is the same time, you know, having come of age. Okay, the golden children having come of age in this very revolutionary time. Okay, or not revolution, but revelation. Going through revelation and tribulation. Okay. And the real events that are taking place, okay? With the not fake news, what we need to not worry about is fake news. We need to worry about fake Jews, okay? Fuck the fake news. We got to worry about these fake Jews that are not Jews at all, but Zionists, and these fake Muslims, okay, that are really Wahhabists, running around in fake Jews clothing and running around in Muslim fake clothing. And what I mean by that, the language hiding in the culture, and then you got the fake Jews hiding now among the Nazis, okay, because they got who protecting them? They got the Trump protecting them, right? So you got them, and as long as the Trump will play to their little game, right, of I got America first, I got the Ku Klux Klan first, in my mind and whatever I do, but running around talking about he got a Zionist daughter, you think again where his fidelities lie, right? Okay, but as long as he can make you think he's not cavorting with the enemy when he's giving ISIS weapons to shoot against your sons and daughters when they go in the military, but while pumping out one side of his mouth, oh, he's got jobs in mind. No, he doesn't have jobs in mind. Okay, he's got his mind making a legacy for himself, saving himself, his own goddamn self, because he's been a part of the game probably from inception. Okay, but as long as he can make that base think he's just as racist and just as Ku Klux Klan and just Aryan hidden for the white race only, okay, he thinks he's got them snookered in the bag, okay, in the doo-doo bag, okay, in the little brown bag on the end of the corner of the street, the little shit bag nobody wants to pick up. Okay, that's what he thinks he's got, the Ku Klux Klan and who he calls his hardcore base. As long as he can say white power, throw up some white power chips to him, he's got him hook, link, and sinker. Okay, well, even though as he sends their daughters off to be maimed by the ISIS, he's given the high technology to. Okay, these weapons to. But then he'll turn and say, "Oh, it was ISIS. It was a Muslim." When there's no Muslims involved, it's the Caliphate, Salafate. That's what it's, a Salafi group, Salafi Wahhabist, Zionist, Salafi Wahhabist, not Muslims at all. And Muslims have to stand up, okay? And you got to let the world know we Muslims do not subscribe to the occupation of Hijaz. Muslims do not ascribe to the Saudi occupation of Hijaz and his Wahhabi kingdom for ISIS. Okay, Muslims do not ascribe to that. Okay, because these Wahhabis commit crimes, these atrocities. Okay, in Muslim garb, because they are from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Okay, and because they're at the heart of the kingdom where they're supposed to represent Islam, it's making the world take a harsh look and brutal look at Islam. It's the Wahhabis making Islam looking bad, because they are like the Zionists in sheep's clothing. Okay, they are the Catholic Church in Jewish clothing. Okay, because the Jews are not the Zionists, just as Jews are not the Zionists, just as Muslims are not Wahhabists. And Muslims, you got to stand up and let them know the difference. You got to let the human know the difference. That you are as much a victim as a Jew, or as a Christian, or any other, who chooses not to ascribe to the fanatics of the Wahhabi clan, the Saudi Wahhabi clan, okay, who is occupying Holy Land, Hijaz, and Jerusalem, okay, operating from the Vatican, okay, who's in control of it all, because they started it all. The British Zionists, the British head of it all. The Zionists were head of it all, right? Okay. Founders of the Zionist Israel, British Israel, and British Saudi Arabia, because that's what it is, British Saudi Arabia. It's not Hijaz. British Wahhabi, British Saudi Wahhabi Arabia. I can get it better than that, but I'm not going to. Anyway, so okay. So in 1958 is a very the apex of the year for the children born to the it represents the apex of the year. While the for the children of the sun. Okay, I think I said that correctly. I hope I said it correctly. Yeah, 1958 is the apex, okay, for the, when Jupiter was in, no, not Jupiter, when Uranus was in Leo, yeah, okay, and all while Jupiter was in Leo, children of the sun were being born, okay? Were being born. The nation of the sun, okay? Were being resurrected. They were being resurrected. They were being resurrected. The children of the sun are the the first civil rights movement. We're the resurrected movement. We're the golden children of the sun. Okay. Anyway, so the generation of soul must be prepared for Dhul Qaeda 27/14/38, which is August 21st, 2017, with the total eclipse of America marking the second coming, only to be followed by Muharram 3rd, 1439, which will be September 23rd, 2017, and it will mark Revelations 12, okay, the sign of the woman giving birth, to be followed 7 years after that sign, to be followed 7 years with the birth, with the arrival of the prophet born of a virgin, as we stated, and that will bring us to the door of Gemini, right? Okay, after the 7 years of the sign, right? Now, okay, so we got to be prepared for Uranus and Taurus, and as we said, we got to go through that, and that's going to be like the 7 years of good, and then the next 7 years, which will be around the 2024, which will be 1445, okay, where the year of release begins, right? Okay. So now, we got to be prepared, and that's why the awakening began. The awakening began in began its apex in 1958, right? So we're that generation. We're being awakened. Well, we're that generation, that was awakened by the civil rights movement, first civil rights movement. We're the resurrection of that. Okay. Now, so they got to be prepared, right, for when Uranus enters Taurus, 1439, 2018, and the divine celestial download from the seven sisters began, in order that the golden Ummah, right, the nation of Jacob, can heal the world. Okay, and all along, remember, Chiron, the planet Chiron represents healing. It was also alongside, involved in the healing, right? While Neptune was in its home, right? Which was Neptune was in Pisces, right? And Chiron, which represents healing, was there as well, right? So all those energies enable, the golden children are there to enable the golden children to do what they were born to do, and that is meet, by following the legacy of Michael Joseph Jackson, the King of Kings, by following that divine legacy. And it will lead to the Christ consciousness, whereby Heal the World can begin, right? And defeat those with the Antichrist plantation consciousness. Those who believe in taking the soul, taking the life, right? Those who believe they're the reptilians, right? The dragons, right? The ones who drag humanity down because they can't ascend, right? Because they can't ascend. So that's why they're always deformed, right? Because they're always deformed because they can't consciously deform. That's why they can never ascend, because they always consciously deformed. Consciously. So they can't ascend. Right? So they got to keep the world dragged down. They got to keep the world heavy, bogged down, the person's mind bogged down with debt, with problems, with racism, with culturism, with stigmatisms, with all these isms, right? They got to keep them bogged down, right? Okay. So they got to keep you bogged down so you don't meet with you don't have the Christ consciousness. You don't get that, right? Okay. Okay. So Chiron was there with Neptune and Pisces. All the healing, all the energies were there for purging and growth and preparing one to be for the Passover and the download, right? And after they purged and all that. Okay, so and adapt the follow the legacy, right? And don't be misguided by Judas, okay? And his perjuring himself and selling himself for a few shillings, right? Shekels, right? The Zionist selling himself for a few shekels, okay? Anyway, so it is here only to okay. So Chiron was there only to inform and aid, well, only to aid in the healing of the golden children, okay? Now, the total eclipse is a celestial sign not only for man, but for all of America. Let me do that again. The total eclipse is a celestial sign not only for man, but most importantly for all of America. Okay. As Uranus begins its transition into Taurus and the house of seven sisters of the Pleiades. Okay. So, oh, okay. So, we have to be ready, and as I said, following and they are, there are those who, those with the plantation consciousness that are trying to steal the legacy, the Zionist Wahhabists, okay? Those Rothschild, the British Rothschild Zionists and the British Saudi Wahhabist, okay, are trying to keep humanity down, right? Because they are also aware of, what time it is and, what the energies have the ability to do. They know, that, as we said, they know they're not the children of Israel. They know that the African that were enslaved in America are the children of Israel. But again, as long as the Drumpf, can make his base think that he's, a Ku Klux Klan for them, for white power, then, and continue to deceive them, he can continue to protect the Zionist, the British Rothschild, Zionist agenda, British Wahhabi agenda, okay? British Saudi Wahhabi agenda, right? He can continue to conceal that, and as long as he can the Wahhabis continue to conceal themselves in Islam, okay, then you know, they can basically continue to destroy, you know, Muslims, right? They can continue to harm the Muslims, right? And bring a decrease to the Muslim population, right? And then play this game about, you know, what's that, restrict, ban on Muslims and all this kind of stuff, all these kind of games. So Muslims globally got to call for, let all the world know that Muslims are not Wahhabis. Muslims do not support Wahhabism, and it's British. It's an arm of the British creation or establishment, a British Empire. It's an arm of the British Empire to destabilize Muslim countries and to keep the caliphate, the real Muslim caliphate, which is the leader of the Muslim kingdom, Muslim world, you know, to keep them oppressed by having their British arm, you know, colony in Hijaz. It's a colony. The Kingdom of Saud is a British colony, and it swears allegiance to Britain. So if Britain didn't want all the terrorism in the Middle East, believe me, it wouldn't be there, okay? If they didn't want the Wahhabis to have the ISIS to have the military, they wouldn't have it, okay? So it's a game. They got two arms in the Middle East, and one is the Zionist arm of the British Rothschilds have two arms in the Middle East. A Zionist arm, okay, distracting America, claiming to be the victim, while it hits them with the left arm. And that will be the Wahhabi arm of the British Wahhabi arm. And they make you think, oh, they're not doing it. It's the Wahhabis. And then the Wahhabi takes off. The Wahhabi dresses in Muslim clothing and makes you think, oh, the Muslims did it. So you're being played. Okay? But anyway, I forgot how I got there. Let's go to video 3.